Hey everyone, my name's Daniel, and in today's video we're going to look at how you can add cascading drop-downs to a PowerApp but save the data to a single line of text columns on a SharePoint list. So in this video, the first thing we're going to look at is the lists which are on SharePoint. This is going to be the destination list. It's called Cascading Demo, and if you take a quick look at the columns, you will see that they're all single line of text. At least the ones that I've added, this is manufacturer, device, model, and accessory. They're all single line of text over here. So that's going to be the destination list where all the data is saved. Now, one other thing we're going to do is the data is going to get pulled from other lists as well, 4 other lists. So in this case, I have these lists and I've named them in this order. The PA stands for PowerApp. So the PowerApp manufacturer has all the list of manufacturers over here. Then I have a second list which has manufacturers plus devices. That's why it stands as PowerApp devices. Then there is the PowerApp model, which again has the MFR, manufacturer, device, and each of their models. And then finally, I have the PowerApp accessory, which is the models and all the accessories that come along with that respective model. So this is the SharePoint, again, the lists. There's 5 of them. One of them is the destination where the data will be stored, and then the remaining 4 are the sources. So we will go ahead and start building the app, and to do that, I click on Power Apps and I click on Create App, and I will give it a name called Cascading Demo, and I will create that. And so now another page has opened up, and the Power Apps has started the process of creating at least the basic template or the basic app for which is tied to the list. So as the app is getting built, by default it is in my default environment, but for the sake of the example, I'll leave it as it is. So here it is, the PowerApp page has opened up over here, and as you will start noticing that the different components show up, you will start to see at least the 3 new screens showing up. So out of the box itself, the moment you click on PowerApp, it does accomplish a lot just to do the basic work, and that's a good place to start because the screens are built, and all I have to do now is go and just manipulate the screens a little bit, but a major amount of work is already done out of the box. Okay, so the default app is built. I have 3 screens. This one over here is the browse screen, detail screen, and the edit screen. And I'll just go ahead and confirm, yep, that the app name is Cascading, and I'll give it that default icon. So one of the things which we are going to do is, or most of it is going to spend time on this screen over here, the edit screen. And as you will see that there is the 4 single line of text fields that are available over here, and this is the one which we'll be manipulating a lot. So what I'm going to do first is make a copy of this screen, which is just good practice, so that I always have the original one, and in the copy is where I'll make the changes. So I went and clicked on the ellipses or the 3 dots, and I selected the duplicate screen. And here's the duplicate screen. What I've noticed right off the bat is the screen name is 1_1. That's one thing I noticed, and the form is 1_1 as well. And for now, I'll leave it as it is. So what I want to do now is replace these single line of text to drop downs, and I'll get that from the control. But to do that, I have to select on each and every one of these and unlock it. So let's do one for accessory. I've unlocked that data card. Now I click on the data card field, and I'm going to delete it. And you will see that these warning signs come up, and we'll deal with that shortly. But for now, let's just ignore them. Again, I click on the data card, and I'm going to go to Insert, in Controls, and I will add my drop down. And me zoom in a bit, select again the entire data card. Let's make it a little bit bigger, and then move things down, make it a little bit more bigger. Alright, so that's good. Good practice is to give it a name. So since it's a drop down, I'll start with DD for drop down, and I'll give it the same name as the field itself. And I just hit enter. And now we are done with accessories, so let's go ahead and finish up device, model, and manufacturer as well. Same process, unlock, then select the field, delete it. Again, select that entire data card and add the drop down control over here. Let's keep going down. Unlock. Oh, missed a step over here. Click on that, give it a name. Drop down, device, hit enter. Okay, so that's taken care of. Model, I already unlocked it. Delete. Insert. Drop down. And then finally, it's the manufacturer. Unlock that. Oh, no. I could just use that, but I'm going to select the data card first, then I'll add the control there. And I added the wrong one. So let me change that to drop down. Delete that as well. And like I said, select the data card, and in the control, add the drop down. So now it'll be tied directly to that data card, and it just makes it a little easier. Okay, so I've gone ahead and changed the fields. Now let's just take care of these warning signals. So there's two of them over here. I'll select on the first one, and it's basically just a error message. Now I could leave it as it is and everything will still work, but for the sake of keeping it clean and simple, I'll simply click on it and I'll hit the delete button. So that will take care of one, and then I click on the second one, and the update field name, they gave it the data card value over there. All I need to do is assign accessory, because that was the actual name. And so the name of the field. So when I do that, you see that exclamation mark went away. So let's go ahead and finish off the other ones. The error message one, we'll go ahead and delete that. Second one, this one's name is device, and I like the IntelliSense because when I start typing it in, it gives me all the options, and I scroll down to the one I want and I just hit the tab button. So that one's gone there, and let's finish off these last two as well. Click that, delete. This one is model. Alright, so I started typing in manufacturer and IntelliSense did not pick it up. The reason for that is manufacturer over here is originally part of the title. That was the original name of the field. That's why manufacturer didn't come up. And as you can see over here, the data field name still shows up as title. So that's what I need to type in. And so there you go. All the warning signs have disappeared. So now we need to start assigning or attaching data for these drop-down values. And that's what we're going to do, is we need to start getting the correct data sources. So the first thing is I'm going to click over here. The data is going to come from SharePoint Online. So that's what I go ahead and select. And I'm going to get my URL. And for the URL, you want to go all the way down to the site name, not just the site collection. So I put that in, and now let me just grab my lists. That's P accessory, devices, manufacturer, model, connect. And once it's connected, you will see that we should have a total of 5 data sources, including the new ones that we want. So before also I do that, I'm going to rearrange these columns a little bit, or these fields. I would like my manufacturer to be on top. The next thing would be device, model, and then the accessory. So manufacturer, based on the manufacturer, select the devices. Will get filtered based on the devices. The model gets filtered, and based on the model, I get the filtered accessories. That's why it's called a cascading drop down over here. All right, so the first thing is, let's click on manufacturer field, and the data is going to come from the PAMFR, and the field is just called as manufacturer. So that's where the data is going to come from. And as you will see over here, the first option is select one, and very soon you will see select one over here. One thing is, it's always a good practice to start saving your app, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Okay, so we did that. One thing I just noticed is I need to start naming these drop downs. So let me do that as well. I'll give it DD for drop down, manufacturer. Let me just make sure all of those are already completed. Device, I did that. Model, I did that. All right, so it was just manufacturer that I left. Okay, so we took care of manufacturer. Now device, we will also add the drop downs, but it has to have filtered values based on the manufacturer. And I've already gone ahead and put the formula over here. So let's just go ahead and copy that and paste it here. Yes, I will allow access. And just to take a quick look, the filtered value for the devices, I only want the device column showing up over here, but it should match such that the title of the device, the title, which is the MFR, should match the manufacturer which I selected, which is the DD selected manufacturer, and then give it to me in the ascending order. That's the whole formula over here, which is very similar to the Excel type of formulas that you use. Same functionality over here. So let's, now that we've done that one over here, go ahead and add one for the model as well. And the difference in model is I'm doing the filtering, but I have two filtering conditions. That's why I use this double and I go ahead and get the values from the PA model list. I will get the first one. I'll only get the model. And then finally, for the accessory, again, same process. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going ahead and copying and paste it here. And the formulas are all good, because if it wasn't, you would start seeing some squiggly red lines over here, but none of them show up, so we're all good. And again, good practice. Save it. And we are done over here. getting our cascading dropdown. So here's the thing, this is not finished because we've added our own fields to the data set, or the data set fields, but this is not going to save in SharePoint. What we need to do for that is go ahead and add the SharePoint fields again. And if you notice it on this side, these have all become custom cards, but the SharePoint fields or the SharePoint columns are all over here. So what we need to do now is start adding these columns back and assign the default values in each of these columns to the selected values of these custom ones. So first thing is, let's start adding them. So I need to add the manufacturer, add the device, model, and accessory. So we've got, again, see, these are the single line of text ones, the exact thing we get from SharePoint. What I want to do now is I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to change the default value. So it is unlocked. Now I select the actual field, and I'm changing the default value, and the default value is going to come from whatever is selected in that manufacturer. And this is why naming all those fields really comes in handy, because now I know what to look for, because we named it as DD manufacturer, then the formula is dot or period selected dot value. And so there you go, that's a copy. And let's finish up all of them. Need to unlock it. Unlocked. Select. Then this one is DD device dot selected dot value. All right, so let's keep going down. Model, unlock, data card value, change it, get its default to DD model dot selected dot value. And once I select it, I'm just hitting my tab key, so that just makes it a little easier and faster. And then finally it's the accessory, again unlock it, so it is all saved. I'm going to go ahead and save the app again. Now, some of you may already be thinking, is that aren't these going to be duplicates? And you're right, there will be two of them that show up if I leave it as it is. So I will now just select the data cards, scroll down here, see more options, and I will change the visible from true to false. Because now I know that the data is getting stored in the SharePoint column, but I don't want to see it. All I want to see is these drop-down options. So that's why I'll just go ahead and hide that. So let me finish this off on the other remaining three. Two more to go. Oh, that's false. Okay, so save that as well. And now let's get rid of the other screen here because we no longer need that. So I'll click on the ellipsis or the three dots, click on delete screen. That's gone, but I now see two other warning signals that have shown up, and I know why. Because if I select over here, this warning shows up that the error that's found is the plus sign over here and also the edit sign over here is not able to find the screen and form, and that's because the screen name has changed. So let's just take off the _1, hit enter. On the form, let's take off the _1 as well. It is taking some time, so I'll just let it do its job. And when this thing happens, it's just best to wait it out because PowerApps are running some scripts in the back end. You could save it or start again, but I'm going to go ahead and let it finish off. But once it does, again, I will just go and save it. That way I don't lose any of the work I've already done. So as a test, I go back to the browse screen over here, and I'll click on the the play sign, and I now want to add one. So I come and I select the Microsoft one. The device should get filtered. Yes, they're all tablets. So I'll leave that as it is. The accessory, I need to move this model up. The model shows up as Microsoft, which is the same as manufacturer, and that's not what we want. So let's try to figure out how we can fix that. So first things first is let's do some moving around. So I go to the options, and it is this card that I want to move up. Okay, so I move that up. Now what I want to do is a good practice, something that you can use all the time, is add a text field over here to get copies of all this data that shows up. So that's always a good coding practice when you want to troubleshoot anything. Go ahead and add a single line of text or a text field, which you will delete off later. But for now, let's just keep it here. And what I just want to make sure is that the correct data is coming through. So on the model, I just make sure that I got the name right. So here I am going to add device, it's drop down, model, selected, same thing we did before, value. Okay, so that's in the model which we are getting here. So okay, so the data that's coming through is correct. So let's make sure we are in fact getting let me just try that. There is an error, so I guess it doesn't like that, and that's what I was talking about, this red squiggly line. So I guess in this case all it needs is a little refreshing. So I took that off and let PowerApps do its thinking, and in this case all it needed was a little bit of extra time to refresh, but now it looks like they're getting the correct model name, and the single line of text confirms that. So let me just delete that. And let's do another quick test. Select on that, add, plus, and it still remembers the last one. So let's change that to say something else. Dell. It shows all-in-one. Change it to Ultra Pro. That's the model. Let's change that to this one. And now it's giving me only the filtered options because these were the 3 that were available. So I save that. Entry is required. Save it here. This is good because this helps us do some troubleshooting on the fly. I have saved it, so let's go back over here to our Cascading. Let me go ahead and save it one more time because we've got everything here. Models and everything are good. So once I save it, I should be able to simply close it and then test it. It's my cascading dropdown. It is saving it, and now there you go. I am able to see the data. So now that I've seen that over here, if I go back to my list and I simply click on F5 here for refresh, now I don't want it on the browser. I simply want to see the list. So I re-click on that list, and there, now I see my fields that show up over here and the columns. And remember, this is a single line of text, so no change is made on the actual list itself or the columns. But the PowerApp has now the cascading fields, and whatever is selected from the field by default gets saved on your single line of text columns. So in a nutshell, this is basically how you do it. There's other things you could do to design, change the fonts, but in a nutshell, this is how I was able to take a single line of text from SharePoint, keep the columns as it is, but then it makes some adjustments on the form where I was able to add some custom drop-down columns, put some filtering so that they can become cascading style, and now I have a form that saves it to the single line of text list. So hope you enjoyed that. Thanks.